Hello, I'm Richard Raffan. A couple of weeks ago I was given 2 bits of pistachio, which is a wood I've never turned, and so I needed to find out what it was like to work, knowing nothing about it. So I made this little bowl out of the missing bit of this log. So this came out more or less from, where did it come out from? From there. And that's what you're going to see in this video. So I'm going to cut this end. I just need to know exactly what splits there might be in there. So first thing, as usual, is to cut off a very thin slither off the end. Don't bother to look at that end, much easier to look at this end. And definitely a slit there. I can also see it's really quite nice grain, so the main split's across there, so I need a piece which is a length which is equal to the diameter. It's going to be about there. And the knots here stop it rolling around. So that's cutting fairly easily across the grain anyway. So that's the first bit of good news. Now, to make sure that the split doesn't twist. So that looks pretty solid. I'm going to take a piece across here where the split is. So that cut pretty easily. To support the logs, I cut the thinner bit off. I want to put a flat surface on it, parallel to the other face. I can cut a disc out of that, and what I'm going to do is, while I'm at it, is cut the other bit free of splits. Quite sure where they are, so well, what looked like splits don't seem to be, which is good news. Still take a little bit off. That's pretty strong, that's good. The next thing is to just cut off the bark bits. What I want is a good clean piece of clean timber down the sides. Don't want to take a blank right out to the bark. Right, it's looking good. This saw does not have a foot brake. So the next thing is to draw a circle. I'll do the deeper bit, the deeper blank, or the thicker blank. Cutting quite nicely. Now ideally I would like the grain in the bottom of the bowl, but I just wanted to see how this works first. One blank, but while I'm at it I might as well do this one too. Not so good. So that's a big split there. Well, that is a big split. So that's just going to get cut down the pit. We have there some embryo box blanks. For a scoop, yeah, something like that. Probably turn it green into a little scoop. But the split is a bit of a problem. Take that down to a square. So I've drilled a hole with a Forstner bit, very smooth off the drill, which is good, and that's going over the shark jaws here, which is taking to mounting small bowls this way. It's easier, quicker than using a screw chuck often, I find. So bark to come off first, and as always I will be roughing down with a 1/2 inch spindle gouge. And that seems to be working very nicely. Don't go racing off the end because that splinters it. I need to true up the top face so I know how much wood I've got to play with. Soften the corner. Oh, well, that looks very nice. A little more bark to come off there. Let's try and see how it scrapes across the bottom. Shear scraper, use it flat to start with. Oh! no complaints there, so that's good. Oh, lovely. I need a foot on this, so it goes into the chuck. 55mm jaws. Got that one wrong. This will be a dinky little roll with a small foot. Right, try the shear cut next. I've got a steep bevel on the right wing of this half-inch spindle gouge, half-inch flute that is, so I can get in tight there and should be able to do a shear cut with this. Speed comes up a bit, rest goes down. I want to cut near center height. Yep, looks alright. I'm beginning to get some quite a nice bit of pattern. I'll probably lose that bit, but maybe gain others. Right, well I think I'm just going to scrape this. Press down a bit further so it's working at centre height. Very nice. This looks though it'll take detail very nicely, so we'll add some detail. Do just bring a little bit more in there. I'm just going to ease the corner in here. And shear scrape up to that. And come in flat on the top side. And that is a little bit smaller than I anticipated. Three-eighths spindle gouge, 3/8 flute that is. I'll just have one bead enough. Round the top a little bit. Doesn't seem to be chipping or anything. Nope. Right, over the foot. No. quite a hollow under there, and that's because I'm anticipating this might warp quite a bit when I put it through the microwave. I'm just going to fairly straight little foot on this one. Looks okay. And sand it. This is going to be 180 grits. And considering this tree was growing about 3 weeks ago, I expected it would be a bit damper than this. On the other hand, it might have been dead. So not quite sure. A little bit of kind of wax building up, which means it might have some bit of grease in the wood. And 240 grit. Right, and because this is green, doesn't get a finish at the moment. And because it's green, I need a bit of plastic between the metal and the chuck jaws. And I should have been prepared for that. Right, so it's a 3/8 deep fluted bowl gouge, 3/8 flute. And I know this is going to work beautifully. It's just a shade high there, and I should really drill a depth hole. 1/2 inch spindle gouge, force the edge in. Just shy of that one. Oops. You want to keep track of your marks on this. That's why I don't finish the rim first up. Just using just to the right of the nose to sweep it across gently. It's a 35mm bowl scraper. One, so I need to get round that corner. So I want a curve on the radius on the end, just inside the curve I'm trying to cut. That way you can relate the curve you're cutting to the tool, whereas if you have a round nose it's much more difficult to swing that evenly across. I find it more difficult. Grit. 'Isn't quite wet enough to use the hairdryer to dry off the surface. A little bit of friction will do the job. It's getting quite warm in there. Now, fresh bit of paper, abrasive. Always fold it with the warp and it'll stay folded. What I thought looked like picked out grain, in fact, is just the end of the kind of feather pattern. Right, well, what a treat that is. Right, now into the microwave and we'll see what happens then. So I don't believe in pussyfooting around with these things. Bowl this size, 90 seconds on high. Right, 8 seconds to go. It's almost wondering about whether to take it out a couple of seconds ago, but we'll see how we are. I like them coming out too hot to handle, which that definitely is. Right, so I can see it's warping very slightly. Oh, it's kinking up a bit there, which I wouldn't normally expect. So, and there's a slightly, yeah, it's cooling off enough now to hold. Still a bit, I can see the damp in the middle of the bottom, but that's looking quite promising. Lovely. Right, so I'm going to just tilt that over. Yes, my little fork. Maybe that's going to be my bowl tilting fork. So I'll let that settle now for, let that cool off, and then put it in just probably for a minute next time. So this has had one lot of 90 seconds and one lot of 60 seconds, and each time came out steaming. The bottom has stayed pretty well flat, which often happens, and as you can see the top has become a little bit crinkly. There's one very small horizontal split there, which is pretty unusual, and that doesn't go through onto the inside. Otherwise it's come up pretty well, I think. And what that tells me is that I can rough turn these bowls and probably leave them maybe for a month with a wall thickness of about ½ an inch, 15-20 millimeters, somewhere around there, and then I'll turn them off again and I'll have some nice symmetrical bowls.